Yeah, just because questions are good. It'll just be me.
How important are, how do I word this? How important are the reps? Like obviously you don't want them doing 100 of this and 5 of that, blah, 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 but how important is it to focus on that as the teacher?
So in your Pilates teacher training, in every piece of repertoire, it will say 5 to 10 reps, usually.
Okay.
Sometimes it's 8 reps. The important thing is establishing your flow. I'll tell you why we don't do sets, and I'll tell you why we say 5 to 10 reps. Let's say we're getting into single leg circle. Bring the leg in towards the face, across the belly button. Circle it down, around, and up. Follow my cues. Let's go. In, across, down, around, and up. In, across. I've done 3 now, right? So now it took me 3 motions, 3 reps to allow them to be. If you want them in a flow state, you've got to give them more than 3. You have 5 more for flow.
And you don't want to stop them now that they've got it.
No.
Because I feel like I'm focusing, just as somebody who's never taught a class before, I'm like, oh, I need to keep count. And I'm focusing too much on that, and then my
The only
cues
one you
aren't there.
need to keep count of
Is the 100.
is the 100, and everyone doesn't. Even I don't. But listen, you don't know I don't, because
Right.
most people are not counting.
No, we're just dying.
You're dying. So if I say you're 3 sets in, you have 4 more to go.
Yeah, okay.
I just said 7. Nobody fucking cares if I said 7. They're just like, okay, 4 more sets.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if I'm teaching a very stringent class, I will actually keep count behind my head. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, exhale. Okay, you're 3 sets in, and I'm doing this behind so I can still talk to them, and then I'll keep them there for 120.
Because I wouldn't want to not cue, not correct or something, because I'm like, okay, hold on, don't let me lose count here. You know?
A good rule of thumb for a brand new teacher is 8. You set up 3, you flow 3, you dismiss 2.
Okay.
3 to 5,
Set up 3.
you know?
Flow
You have 3 more for flow, you have 2 more, get ready to transition into.
Okay.
So I do always 8s, unless they're not executing. You know when we did Sidekick series, we had a ring today, so we all did very well, because we had a ring to guide our height.
Yeah.
If there's no ring, legs are going all over the place, so I'll keep them there sometimes for 12. But I'll tell them, I'm like, hey guys, let's stop. I want you to really push your foot down on a flat table. We've got 4 to be executed real nice form. Let's all kick forward slowly together. Everyone point your toe. Drag that pointed toe slowly back. Good work, you have 3 more for flow. It's not important if you know if you did 8, 9, 7, 6 reps. But there's a guideline. It usually says 5 to 10.
Yeah, you don't want to be doing 50 reps, like something ridiculous. You gotta
Never
stay
more
within
than 10
that.
to 12.
Okay.
Never, ever.
Yep,
It's not necessary.
that's good to know.
Mm.
That was my burning question.
Today will probably feel mildly overwhelming. I have to be very honest. You didn't miss super much repertoire. It was more getting used to the module, how I wrote the manual, people meeting each other. I took them through a mini version of a class. It's just the 4 pieces of repertoire. But I can make a guess that it can be a lot. It's very overwhelming because you're getting 5 hours, whereas they got a little intro of 3. But is there any burning questions
Honestly, no.
Okay. One thing that I really want you to write down somewhere is in Pilates, we always move from control to challenge. That was a big point from yesterday. And where contemporary gets it wrong, in my opinion, in my educated opinion, is they'll just give challenge after challenge after challenge after challenge after challenge. And you need to see that they have the control first. In fact, Return to Life is called contrology. Joseph Pilates did not call his exercise regime Pilates. He called it contrology. Just like philosophy, the ology, right, means the study and discipline of, right? Doesn't it in Greek? I think so.
Yeah.
The ology ending.
Mm-hmm.
Suffix, the suffix, the ending.
Prefix.
I had to think I haven't taught for 6 months. The suffix prefix. But it was the control of the body. Because Joe believed a controlled body and a controlled mind were what he called perfect health.
Well, what I find interesting, and I like I told you, I'm a Pilates nerd now.
Yes.
Is when I talk to my friends about classical, contemporary, I say like classical is a routine, and you do that routine over and over, and you just kind of like get better at that one routine, and it gets harder as you keep going because you're getting better and you're self-correcting and you're blah blah blah, and like a lot of people find that boring. Like,
Yeah.
that's not Instagram Pilates. That you're like, when do I get to put my feet over my head?
Yeah. I had written down, I don't think it's in this, I think it's in my other one, is that a good teacher does not need to do choreography. So I'm being very bold then. If clients are getting bored, so across the street, I just retired as their program director. I was teaching the same class that you guys experienced this morning every Saturday for a year. 25 people come into class.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were there nuances week to week? Sometimes a ring, sometimes a ball, sometimes nothing, sometimes a modification, a variation. But what you guys just did, if Sam was here, she'd be like, yeah, that's what I did for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And the class just grew and grew and grew. Because a great teacher knows when they're ready for the next layering of cues.
Yeah.
Of course, people are going to get bored if you keep them in the 100 and you just keep saying the same thing over and over and over. You'll see when the body is ready to deepen. And that's really cool stuff.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, that's why I'm a nerd about it. I'm
Yeah.
like, how cool and how disciplined are you that you can keep doing the same movements over and you don't just need excitement out of a workout?
No, and it's a little bit of a pity because I'm sure Austin could speak to this. Austin, is that as a professional ballerina, I'm going to guess he does a similar warm-up before every audition. I'm going to guess he knows what he needs to do for his body to be able to perform. I don't think before an audition he's like, oh, today I'll throw in some squats with a dumbbell. I'm sure he knows how to warm up his body exactly the same way. He has a routine, it's disciplined, and then he can execute his solos or whatever the case may be. I didn't grow up dancing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it speaks to the culture. In our culture, we have a huge increase in ADHD and ADD. And so most people, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, probably one of my children is missing the diagnosis. I'm not sure. I'll see, right? But I'm like, just not getting it. But he's a 13-year-old boy, so I'm hanging back a little.
That's
Just don't know if it's going to be 14 in the summer, right? But we always want the next best thing. It's the same with dating culture. Swipe, swipe, swipe. And so classes where they're like, oh, I'm getting bored, it really is a culture piece. And that's why we kind of have to be, and I'll say this, and I love it. When I did my yoga teacher training, we did a stint in Bali, and we had to live with teacher, or live there where teacher was, Swamiji. And Swamiji said, be like the lemmings. You know these little creatures?
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't mean be the lemmings, because these guys will throw themselves off cliffs. He's like, however he said it, he's like, be the opposite lemming. So like be going against the grain. So if all culture is going this way, it's your cue to go the opposite. So right now in Pilates, when all the culture is TikTok and fraud to a certain extent, some isn't, some's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But we as teachers can go the opposite and teach real beautiful classical classes. And we are the razzle dazzle. Like, I'm not saying this to blow smoke your way, but like your voice to me is very beautiful. I would probably pay just to hear your voice. Really.
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, wow, I feel safe. That's what it is. I feel safe when he's cueing, right? And I could pay for top dollars to go to anyone's classes, right? But you want people to come back for you. You don't need to choreograph.
Mm-hmm.
No choreography, right? And unfortunately, like right now, at one of the studios where I work, there's a girl and she stresses herself out with lesson plannings. Because she doesn't want to teach the same class twice. She does like 4 hours a week of lesson planning. Sean says, "Is this okay? Can you look at it?" Calm down. Calm down. You don't need to lesson plan, it's all in you, right? Any other burning questions? Not
I
yet?
just like that you said that, like, always move from control to challenge, because I feel like that is a challenge within itself. Like, the more that we control a movement, I feel like the harder it is. Right?
Exactly. And that's why we don't want to overstimulate with props in the beginning or even at the end. I'm not a huge fan of props, but they are cool when you know how to use them right. Like my class across the street when I had it, I'm only 2 weeks out of it, we would do some really cool like ring work where we were like flipping the ring, going like this, flipping the ring, lengthening, turning, like it was very rhythmic gymnastics, but it flowed within repertoire. And it was so much fun to teach because when they got it, I would make jokes and like we should all get turquoise leotards and enter into like, you know, synchronized pilates, like synchronized swimmers. But it's cool. But those are things that come after years and also after layerings, you know? All right, let's wrap it up there. Let's clean up.